Once a year, at this time on the calendar, 64 marbles gather for Marble Madness, the premier 1v1 racing sport on the calendar. And this year's track features that iconic orange straight for a couple of new features in the open track, that wood block and then the purple pillar. Two obstacles these marbles have to play to their advantage. Bumblebee shows us how to do it. You hit the edge of that wood block and then avoid the purple pillar. That's what you gotta do. Quadrant 1 of 4 features a ton of big names, not limited to just Slenderman, the defending champ, and then also Tree Frog. Marble invites Season 4 selection, so some big names that will be going early on in this tournament. And we are ready to get things going with the defending champion, Slenderman, taking on Dandelion, and Slenderman got the lead, building that advantage up as they go over. He makes contact with the pillar. Here comes Dandelion, up and under. Dandelion, what a move! And one round in, the madness already in full swing. The defending champ goes down. Look at that move. Just got him right at the end there, and Dandelion, a stunner, takes down Slenderman. And we move on to the nature battle between Evergreen and Forest. Evergreen has some contact with the wall. They make contact a couple of times on the open track. Forest almost comes to a complete halt. That will give Evergreen the win. Excellent defending from the solid colored green marble there. And right here is where Forest just can't get around that last turn. And Evergreen hangs on. Now, Tree Frog and Twisted Thicket. And Twisted Thicket gets the jump. Twisted Thicket off into the distance. Tree Frog makes contact. This is a clinical victory for Twisted Thicket and a big-time stunner. Both marbles to watch entering this quadrant go out early on, as Tree Frog was never even competitive in that race for a marble known for his speed. Now Vampire and Zombie, the monster mash in our fourth race of the day. Zombie gets around on the orange track. Pretty move right there and off into the distance. He will not be caught by Vampire. There was an extra piece of contact. First off, hardest part of the track to make the move on. And then Vampire slams into the back of him and pinches him forward. Strong result for Zombie. Now the water battle between Sea Turtle and Ocean Breeze. A lot of like marbles matching up in this quadrant. Sea Turtle able to win from start to finish there. They both managed to avoid the obstacles, and that's going to be one of the keys to succeeding in these races. Sea Turtle confident there as we get to the Ghosts, who won Season 2 of Marble Madness all the way back in 2021, but he's got work to do as Pineapple's got the lead. They go over the jump, and they change places. Ghosts take the lead. Another nice move. You'd expect nothing less from a former champion. Even though Pineapple had it, they were lockstep with one another. Pineapple ran into the pillar. Ghosts go around the outside and make a pretty pass as we now go with Patriot and Tide Pod. And Patriot's got a whole lot of speed. He avoids all obstacles, and a comfortable win there for a marble time attack veteran. Look at this. I mean, he just completely avoids it. Meanwhile, Tide Pod hits it square on, and that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. As we get to the final matchup of Quadrant 1 with Demon's Eye and Vortex. Demon's Eye pulling away from Vortex. That gap growing a little bit. They both make contact, but Vortex definitely got the worst of it, and Demon's Eye will convert his 2-seed into at least an appearance in the round of 32, as Vortex, see, he kind of set him up there. Demon's Eye hit the purple pillar first, and that is one quadrant done in Marble Madness. Chance to catch your breath as we get ready for quadrant number 2, featuring a pair of former champions in Mudslide and Scorpion. Scorpion won the original season back in 2020, and it'll be interesting to see. He's had a tough run since then, hasn't really found much success. We'll see if he can do it. He'll be the final race in this quadrant, but we begin with the defending runner-up Electric Eel versus Silhouette, and this one does not look close. Silhouette hits the front of the wood block. That's the first time we've seen that today, and really an indicator that your speed is just not there. You're going to watch on the right side of your screen as, yeah, he just hits the bottom of it. That is a tough break for Silhouette. He's been a 16 seed for a number of years. Got his first win last year, but hasn't been able to convert really beyond that. As we get to Caramel and Mudslide, two similar looking marbles. Mudslide, a marble to watch. He tried every move in the book to get around Caramel, and none of it worked. Excellent defense from the 8 seed, emulating what Evergreen showed us as an 8 seed in round 1. There's the window, and Caramel slams the door shut, takes an unorthodox line to get around, and a pretty finish for him as we get into Slimeball and Rocky Mountain. Slimeball stretching that lead, but Rocky Mountain keeping it within the realm of possibility. Ran into the back of him, and Slimeball pulls away and pulls in with a victory. Rocky Mountain couldn't get it done. Here was the opportunity. And yeah, Slimeball just positions himself well. He's known as a defensive master. We now go to Party versus Fireball. Party gets the jump, but Fireball is right there with him. These two lockstep as they go over. Fireball gets around. He gives Party the brunt of the impact there. And Fireball will win this one as Party ran straight into that block. Take a look at this. He actually clears it out of the way almost, so Fireball can take that middle to bottom line and end up winning this thing easily. Cyclone and Candy Pop next up, and Cyclone pulling away. One of the Weather Bros. A lot of speed for Cyclone. Candy Pop not going to be competitive and might not even finish this race as a result. Cyclone dominant right there. Candy Pop strikes the purple pillar head on, and another strong result as he just pulled away on the orange track. Now Prairie Grass and Minty. Prairie Grass has the lead this time. Here comes Minty though, head of steam. Oh, Prairie Grass escapes and gets off into the distance. Minty was catching up in a hurry, but couldn't pull it off and struck the purple pillar. That has doomed pretty much every single marble that's lost. Have to be able to avoid it. As we go now to Werewolf and Atlantis comes up with the jump. He's got speed, pulling away. Now Werewolf comes through. He knocks the purple pillar out. They almost come to a complete stop. You gotta keep going. Werewolf does exactly that, and he's gonna win this race. One of the weirdest, wackiest battles we have ever seen. They almost both DNF here. Take a look at this. Atlantis stops it. Werewolf goes through the purple pillar. A trick shot on the race course. And Atlantis just completely comes to a stop. Werewolf somehow had enough forward momentum to just trickle on by around that corner. One of the wildest races. Madness in full swing again. Now Scorpion in trouble as Titanic gets the jump, pulling away. Both of them avoid the obstacles, and another big upset. Scorpion goes down. Defending champions and former champions not faring well this year. Another big upset. The 15 seed Titanic moves on. And now we move on to Quadrant 3, halfway home in the round of 64. This one has a pair of fan favorites, but fan favorites that have never really put it all together in these tournaments. Skyline never made it past the round of 32, and Google Earth in 6 total seasons, just 2 career race wins in these tournaments. But we begin with a Final Four member from last season in Tidal Wave. Whole lot of speed. Winter Blast always out of the picture, and they both hit the pillar, but Tidal Wave set it up for Winter Blast to get the worst of it. Watch here, the back marble. He's going to hit it and basically cause that pillar to spin like it's breakdancing on the track. As we move on now to Blitz versus Parrot. Parrot comes up with the joust. Blitz falling behind, a lot of trouble with the orange tracks, but Parrot slows down a lot. Here comes Blitz, backstretch, gets around him in the final turn. He waited until the very last second to pull that move off, about as late as you'll ever see one made, and the window was open for a split second, and that is all that Blitz needed. Shooting the gap and moving on. Impressive stuff. As we move on to Supernova versus Lightning, and Lightning this time, huge lead through the orange tracks. He avoids the pillar, and maybe these seeds should have been flipped because Lightning looking a lot more like the 5, and Supernova never could find the pace. Been a rough showing so far for Marble Time Attack marbles this season. As we move on to one of those fan favorites in Skyline, let's see what he can do. Big lead shot out of the cannon against Goldfish. This one might not be close unless Goldfish can make it happen. He will not. He got closer than he was, but Skyline still takes care of business and is back in the round of 32. A strong showing for him and sure to delight the fans. As we move on to Circus versus Cookie Dough, and Cookie Dough gets the jump, but Circus right with them. Cookie Dough into the distance. Whoa, Circus goes overboard, and Cookie Dough comes to a stop. Oh, we're going to have to redo this one. Golden opportunity. It looks like Cookie Dough got caught up in the pillar like Werewolf did earlier as we resume, and this time Circus avoids everything, and his second chance at life, he converts. Cookie Dough has a rough go in both rounds, but Circus able to avoid all tragedy, and Cookie Dough feels like one probably got away from him. Now Bumblebee and Grayscale. This one's close as well. Grayscale sticking with him, but some contact on the orange track, and that is the decisive advantage Bumblebee needed. Grayscale stranded higher up on the track. You see that was the contact right there, and then it drove Grayscale right into the pillar. We move on now to Octopus versus Peacock, and Octopus, a strong jump, but Peacock keeping this deficit where it is. Oh, and he gets eaten alive by the pillar. Octopus will win this one, and it looks like another story where once you go inside the pillar, it's going to be a tough road for you. Octopus, another win for the higher seeds who are starting to dominate after a rough start. Now Cherry leading Google Earth, and he is falling completely out of this thing, runs into the pillar and gets wedged up against it in the wall, comes to a complete stop, and Cherry, that's about as easy as they come for the 2 seed that time. You see, he hits the pillar, sets it up, and Google Earth just runs into it and couldn't push it out of the way. One last quadrant to go now, and it will feature another Final Four marble in Monarch, but the ones to watch are the Wasps, one of 2 marbles who've won a race every single year in the tournament, and then Banana Split, the pinnacle of consistency, 15 career race wins in Marble Madness tournaments. That's the most of anybody. Monarch and Cloudstorm will open things up for us, and Monarch off to lead. Here comes Cloudstorm. They make contact once, still sticking with them. Look at the 16 putting up the fight, and that is the spot where Blitz came up with the pass in the previous quadrant, but Cloudstorm couldn't get it done against the number 1 seed. There's a reason why Monarch's a number 1 and shows it off with some nice defense there. Now the Wasps looking to keep that perfect attendance club going. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to get her on Avalanche, who's got a head of steam. Slows down. Wow, Wasps blow right by him. Full speed ahead. Look out. Check this one. Let's see what happened here, because Avalanche, yes, he hit the pillar, but man, the Wasps just rode that wall and used it like a slingshot to get in front. A nice move there as we get to Flare and Hurricane. Flare, arguably the modern GOAT on the channel. Hurricane, the old timer. And right now, youth beats experience. Flare and Hurricane, they go wall to wall. Flare with a confident victory, and the 5 seed takes down the 12. Hurricane really has never put it together in Marble Madness. We move on now to Chargers versus Grasshopper, and Grasshopper wins a long joust. Now he's stretching the lead. They go around, and Grasshopper sets himself up for the win and executes. Great result there. Look how long they were stuck together before Grasshopper, the 13, pulls away. Now Inferno and Fiesta. Let's see how this one goes. Inferno with some separation. Fiesta keeping it within close proximity. They make contact. They slow down around the turn. Still not giving up. Fiesta fighting him all the way to the line, but Inferno up to the task at every opportunity of asking. Right here is the window for Fiesta, but Inferno able to straighten out just in the nick of time and defends him all the way to the line. Flame versus Nightfall. We're getting down to the final couple of runs. Flame's got the lead. Nightfall falling backward. Here we go again with contact. Nightfall this time tried to fight him, but Flame hangs on. And again, this was the same move that the Wasps basically pulled against Avalanche. And Flame, the higher seed, up for the task of defending. That really seems to separate a lot of these high seeds to mid seeds. It's how they can defend when they have the lead. This one might require some defense from Royalty. Celtics sticking with them, and they make contact again at a late part in the track. That's 3 straight matches that go down to the line for the high seed winning in these ones. Royalty able to defend the final desperation move as we get to the final match of the race day. Banana Split's got the lead, but Blue Moon sticking by, gets by on the orange track. Blue Moon's got the lead, only for a second though. Banana Split takes back over. Oh man, 2 passes in 1 race. You never see that. Blue Moon surely thought he had it won right here. He took a bad line, and Banana Split just blew right by him, toying with his food before he devours it. And our round of 32 is now set. An awesome beginning to this tournament. So much to look out for as we head into the subsequent rounds. Lots of upsets, lots of passes, but a whole lot of fun at the end of the day. You see the Marble's Eye point of view. It is a fast track that comes at you in an instant. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week for the round of 32 in the Sweet 16. Take care.